I'm Peter Lewis, Councilman of District A in Covington. You're now listening to the motherfucking podcast.
It's the motherfucking pot.
So the word motherfucker is a noun. It describes a person, place, or thing.
What's up, motherfuckers? This is Mr. Headquarters of the motherfucking podcast. And today we got a special episode. Councilman Peter Lewis of District A and a St. Tammany Parish resident, Miss Tiffany, on the line. Welcome both of y'all to the show. I appreciate y'all coming in. How y'all doing today?
Doing well.
Thank y'all for joining. We have a special episode. We're talking today about Juneteenth, and we're talking about Father's Day that's coming up this weekend, which both end up falling on the same day this year, on a Sunday. So first and foremost, Juneteenth. Juneteenth, Peter, you've been spearheading a campaign, a change out in St. Tammany that has been much needed out up north from where I'm at. You've been making some big waves since 2019. So why don't you give everybody a little glimpse of what you've been trying to do from your position out in District A in St. Tammany?
Yeah, since getting into office, one of our biggest things we've been trying to do is bring awareness to the issues and problems we have in our parish. And while bringing awareness, we wanted to educate and empower the people of our community, and not only our Black and brown people, but everyone, because lack of education affects everybody. If we're not educated and we don't know what we did wrong in the past, we can't move forward in the future. So hosting, positive events can create positive change. And that's one of the things that we've been trying to create. Absolutely.
And you've been having a lot of people behind you also helping out with not only just creating this special moment that we have this weekend. We have Juneteenth celebration going on out in Covington. I had the pleasure of being out there last year for the second annual parade event that you had. It was also like a giant event for everybody that came out. It rained, but we still showed out. We had fun. We didn't let the rain held us down. We had a lot of people that was out there from the sheriff's department to the fire department to a lot of event organizers out in the area. So a lot of people has shown their support for you. You've had some reports out in NOLA.com. What type of help have you been receiving from the New Orleans area? How's the support been from that end?
Oh yeah, and let me back up a little bit to tell you about what we did for this year. Every year we try to add something a little bit different. But this year, what we did for the youth, I don't do this all by myself. We created a nonprofit called One Convington, along with myself, Miss Tiffany, Miss Tatiana, Ashley Marissa, Miss Elizabeth, and other members of the nonprofit. We created a fashion show we call Junior Juneteenth Fashion Show, and this was the first time this year on the North Shore, and we had these kids, walk the red carpet, and they had to write an essay, and then we created a fundraiser to raise funds to give them a scholarship for the best essay, and we were able to award right around $3,000 to 4 kids that they can use toward any kind of educational advancement throughout the school year. And let me tell you, the experience that the girls and boys had on June 12th in the Covington Auditorium was priceless. If you could have seen their faces and the experience, and when they were holding their awards or the big checks of the Black and brown kids was just like I said, priceless. So this year we started the Junior Juneteenth Fashion Show in the city of Covington, and we surrounded around Juneteenth, educating, empowering, and of course entertaining And we also had Miss Valley O, she's from the North Shore, but currently living in New Orleans, who came over and did some spoken word poetry for us. So now, and to actually answer your question, help from the South Shore, is Tatiana, who's actually living on the, she's living on the North Shore, but she worked mainly on the South Shore. She worked for the state, she's a state deputy director. You know, she worked the entire state, but she is a big integral part of what we do recently. And she has a lot of connections. So she's been connecting me with a lot of people in New Orleans. And, you know, just recently after the hurricanes over there in New Orleans, we were able to go over and help with some of the local schools and our distribution. So we made that connection. Miss Tracy Dundas with NOLA Fashion Week and Dress for Success. She was one of our hosts for the fashion show this week. So she came and spearheaded the Fashion Week along with Justin Rees from Southern Charm, who's also an attorney. So he was the other host, so co-hosted. So we had a good feedback from NOLA. We had some children that came away from Chalmette, who was one of the participants. So New Orleans has been very well in receiving it, both the community and some of the, you know, the business owners, and we welcome that.
Miss Tiffany, to ask you that same question, I know you've been helping out with One Covington and also helping with the advancement of everything with the Juneteenth celebration event. What does the event mean to you as far from a personal standpoint?
Well, it means a lot to me because I was kind of on the same page of suffering from the lack of knowledge and the education of what Juneteenth really meant. Right. And it's very important that, you know, when Councilman Lewis decided that he wanted to do this and make this holiday, he put all his effort into it. So I say, we're going to support you 100%. And to be able to learn and the history on it, because they're not teaching that in schools, it means a lot to me. And anything that my organization can do to help support Mr. Lewis and his team with, you know, getting the awareness out there, we're about it 100%.
Right, and you made a great point. I mean, the lack of education about Juneteenth. When y'all started this event, I mean, y'all started before it was popular. You know, y'all started it 3 years ago when a lot of people was still wondering what it was all about. Not everybody knew all the information about it. So now 3 years has passed, and you know, it's growing and growing. One thing in particular is that people, you know, there's a lot of myths about Juneteenth. One in particular is about when it started and when it happened. You know, 1863 was when it was passed down by Abraham Lincoln, and in 1865 is when the last emancipated slaves was known about it in Texas. So from that point in time, from when it was, what it represented from back then, from what it kind of means today in 2022, it's kind of changed a little bit, and I think for the better as well too. It's changed. Now it's more awareness. It's more about Black empowerment. It's more about Black awareness. It's about education in our community. And I think that's one thing that we definitely need to have learned in the youth. And y'all have done that already, spearheading it with these small events. I think they can become even bigger and bigger as we time and grow, and more people can catch on to the phase of knowing this important information. So this past Saturday, you had the fashion show, and then now this Saturday coming up, y'all have the parade coming up. So walk us through the process of how all that setup came about, of y'all being able to set this up, because last year y'all had it as well, but it was canceled because of the rain. If I'm correct, it's still around the same park and location out in Covington?
Yeah, it was same location, Peter Atkins Park, which is, you know, kind of the biggest park right here in the city of Covington. So it'll start about, we'll line up at 8 o'clock, the parade will roll at 9. It'll run through, you know, pretty much the heart of Covington. It'll start and end at the same location at the park. And then at 11 o'clock, that's when we'll start with what we call our program.
Right.
So it'll be the Freedom Parade, and then the program is where we would start the education and the empowering with some of the speakers. Now, in our parade, our Grand Marshal will be Mr. Soul Super Saint from NOLA, MJ of NOLA,
Right.
Big Six Brass Band, and the NOLA, God, I'm about to mess his name up, but the NOLA Style Steppers, NOLA Style Steppers. Yeah. So they're all being our parade this year, from New Orleans. So that we got some good participants this year, and that's helping us out with the parade. And like I said, after that, we have some people that's going to give a little bit of history about Juneteenth for the kids, games, fun, and free food. It's all free. Like I said, we raise funds. We got some great sponsors that chipped in, that just want to continue with the tradition of making it all free, and then the history of Juneteenth. We did our research, and of course, that historically, it's geared around the maypole, strawberry drinks, barbecuing, just a family atmosphere,
Right.
music and dancing, and the celebration of freedom. And I want to go back kind of to what Tiffany said and what you were saying also. Celebrating Juneteenth is not just about Black and brown communities celebrating Juneteenth. If we don't celebrate it and then educate people and not put it into the school system in the books, we'll continue to fail our kids and our youth and our communities, because they need to know what we did wrong, like I said, to move forward. I was just like Tiffany. And I have several degrees, and I can tell you, in getting those degrees, I didn't hear anything much, if nothing, about Juneteenth. We learned a lot of history, but very little about Black history.
Correct.
So we need to first take a look at our educational platform and start to look at about changing that, because Black people matter, Black history matter, just like every other history that we had to learn about. That's our biggest push.
Socially in America right now, I think more events like this, not only during Juneteenth, but also y'all had an event back during Martin Luther King's birthday as well. Y'all had the MLK drive that was going on. So these different things, I think representation matters, education matters. I think that's why stuff like this needs to have more awareness, so that you can understand and actually be familiarized and have that right mindset, how to move on forward. Also moving into Father's Day weekend as well. It's also moving into that as well. I have some questions, how y'all feel about presents that fathers get for Father's Day. I always said that fathers kind of get messed over compared to Mother's Day. I feel like you getting a glorified tie, or or you gonna get the kids. You gonna be watching the kids, or you gonna be actually working. You gonna be barbecuing. What I'm saying? So, what's some of the type of stuff? What's that?
Because it's funny that you say that, because I was scrolling through social media last night, and I saw where they said some guy had posted, "You moms really get a big break. We go out, we take y'all out for Mother's Day, but barbecue."
Hey, we usually get a lawnmower, a weed eater, or a toolbox. So everything geared around work.
Something that's gonna help us work.
Yep.
What would you rather have for Father's? What would be the good Father's Day gift for you, Peter? What would be
a boat?
A different from the norm?
A boat.
I like that. See, something to go relax on, chill. Kick your leg back. Just go fishing or something like that. That's a perfect one. I like that one.
That's why you just weed eater and lawnmowers.
Now, if I had to take something on the low end, I'll take a little 3-day getaway. I mean,
say that again.
I can deal with that. If I had to take something that's less expensive, I'll take a little 3-day getaway.
3-day getaway. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
What about you, Tiffany? What would you get what would be the perfect gift to give to that perfect father? You're like, oh shit, I don't know.
I usually
She's
would go
hot.
shop and buy like clothes or something, but now you're making me start to think I have to put a little more thought into these gifts that I'm buying for Father's Day.
Yeah, because
We
you
need to
know,
have this
we
discussion
as the
more often.
providers, you know, we deserve a little extra break. We only get one day out the year.
I agree.
So,
I agree. I need to put a little more. I think
Right.
us women need to put a little more emphasis and thought into some better gifts, I guess.
Yeah.
But also moving on, one last thing. We always talk about food on our show too.
Uh-oh.
So I had to ask this question. So in Louisiana, not just New Orleans, but in Louisiana, we have two sandwiches in the South, in Louisiana, that just nobody can touch. And one of them you can't get it anywhere else. A hot sausage po' boy.
Mhm.
Can't get nowhere else outside of Louisiana. And a shrimp po' boy. Which one out of the two would y'all choose if you had to pick one or the other? Hot sausage po' boy or a shrimp po' boy?
I would choose a hot sausage with extra mayo. My favorite.
If y'all listen to the audio, Peter is just making Peter's like, oh hell no.
You want all that white stuff dripping off a sandwich.
I would
That's
say
right.
hold
all
light
the-
on the mayo, but I like what you're going. I like what you're going at. Peter, what about you?
No. You got to do the shrimp, po' boy.
Shrimp po' boy?
Yeah.
Councilman.
Okay. Fully dressed?
Leave the mayo light. Lettuce, tomato, pickle, mayo.
No.
But you don't need extra mayo.
Well, I
Now,
really
see,
don't.
Have y'all ever tried a shrimp po' boy or po' boy in general outside of New Orleans?
I have.
And what was
Yeah.
how did it taste?
It wasn't good. The bread is
Horrible.
definitely not the same. I think the bread really makes it in New Orleans.
There it is.
It
It's always the bread. It's
Yeah.
always
It's the bread. Definitely the bread.
Absolutely. The bread, if the bread ain't fresh or if it's too crunchy or it's too hard.
Or too hard. Yep.
If I'm
Yeah.
chewing on it for about 8 to 10 to 30 seconds on one
It's
bite,
Or if it's
that's a
like-
problem.
Or if it's like gum.
But the bread, New Orleans has that all locked down.
Absolutely. Now
Yeah,
look,
definitely.
before I go, now we talked about Juneteenth, we talked about Father's Day. One last thing on Juneteenth. I know we have y'all have the big parade that's coming up, the Freedom Parade that's coming up this Saturday. Is there any other events that's coming up after Juneteenth that y'all want people to be aware of as well?
Oh yeah, and also during Juneteenth, all of my events, what we do is we go through the community and we pick out special people that's done, work throughout the community for a number of years. So at the fashion show, we awarded a teacher that's taught for over 42 years and also worked in the community. We awarded her, and this Saturday we'll be awarding 3 more people of the community. But there is a after event this Saturday, Tiffany, at the VFW. Yeah, Tiffany can tell you about that one.
There's a Juneteenth celebration that's being hosted by DJ Bankroll, who has volunteered his time to DJ for Councilman Lewis's event at the park. Okay. And it's going to be at the local VFW at 2013 Ronald Reagan Highway in Covington. And it's from 9 p.m. to 1. It's just they call it a blackout Juneteenth event. And you just wear your Juneteenth inspired gear and come out and have a good time.
Okay. Yeah, once again, hey, look, y'all gotta make sure y'all show up for this. You're gonna have the parade. It's like a big cookout / pop-up shop / get together. It's gonna be a lot of food. It's gonna be a lot of music, a lot of events. Shout out to Soul Saint. Shout out to Ash Marissa. Anybody else y'all want to shout out behind the scenes? I know y'all mentioned Miss Tatiana as well. Anybody else y'all want to mention? Any vendors or anything else that you want to mention for this event?
I think Miss Liz Garland with the START Corporation, she has really been a great help, a good asset to getting the vendors together. There's going to be lots of resources out there. So I highly encourage everybody to come out, and there's something there for everybody out there.
Yeah, we have a lot of vendors, free resources. Shout out to Aquista Place, Louisiana Key Academy, Community Church, Starlight Church. Those are some of our big sponsors. So, yeah,
No doubt. Are y'all still doing the weekly events for the youth as well during the week? I remember y'all was doing that before.
well, we kind of stepped back and we kind of reorganized because we've teamed up with some bigger companies that wanted to step in and help, like the Southern Hotel. So shout out to them, thank them for stepping in. And so we kind of stepped back and kind of reorganized that, and we coming up with some other plans. So I have to get with you on that one. I
Okay.
don't want to say too much right now.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt.
That's
No
the
doubt.
next podcast.
Well, look, I want to appreciate Peter from District A coming out in Covington and St. Tammany Parish. Thank you again for coming out on the show. Thank you as well, Miss Tiffany, for showing out on the show for this special episode for this Juneteenth and Father's Day weekend. Special shout out to y'all and again, make sure y'all, if y'all get a chance to hear this in time, go check out the event that's going to be going down this weekend. Juneteenth this weekend is going to be great. It's going to be dope. Make sure y'all support, and not just Covington, but the state of Louisiana as well in our community. So with that being said, I'm your host, Beanie Man, aka Mr. Headquarters. Make sure y'all check in with this episode on our website, themotherfuckerpod.com, and make sure y'all check in again on YouTube for this episode as well. So you already know what it is. It's the motherfucking pod.